Wrestling POV content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to modern audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to modern audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised. Wrestling POV's content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised.
Hey fans, don't fret or worry. Another week has gone by and it's time for WPOV Global. I'm your host, the legend, TJ Logan, and with me, my co-host as always, the gentleman, Elio Canella. Elio?
What's going on?
You know what? What's going on? Another week where we got a lot of wrestling. And
oh my god, I actually, how many hours are... Never mind, we'll get into that when we hit the shows.
Oh, heck yeah. Not only do we cover our regular 4 shows, but we had 4 War of the Worlds from ROH, 2 nights of New Japan Wrestling. Yeah, a lot of wrestling this week.
Yeah, a lot.
How was your week, Elio?
My week was pretty good.
Yeah? I mean, I have to tell you, my week was pretty darn crappy. I almost didn't make it here tonight.
Oh, no. I know. I was looking at my watch and it was after 11. I'm like, we should be. I wonder if TJ is okay tonight. It's after 11.
I have been sick as a dog. To give you an example, on Saturday, I got up at 10 o'clock. I went somewhere. About 15 minutes in with my family, I said, I don't feel good. I went into the van, laid down. Then I went home and I slept from 1 in the afternoon till 7 o'clock the next morning. And I was still sick when I got up. And I've got some kind of stomach flu thing, but I've managed to squeeze in some wrestling, our regular wrestling as always. And some stuff was interesting, some stuff was exciting, some stuff was pretty meh. But hence hence the world of professional wrestling. I mean, it's like a jar. It's like, that box of candy that Forrest Gump keeps talking about. Sometimes it's full of cherries, sometimes you get some bits. This week we had both. But you know what? Let's start off with a bit of news. Okay, I know there's been some interesting news. I want to start off talking about an interesting thing. And boy, this is one of those things where you don't know whose side you should really be on this one, because it's just the way of the world. And I'm talking about Killer Cross, okay? Now, Killer Cross, the last couple of days, has been trying to... He asked for his release from Impact Wrestling. He's wanted out of his contract from Impact for the simple fact that...
I think it's been a year, right?
Yeah, it's only been a year. He has a 3-year contract. He's been asking out. He's been demanding, or he's been trying to negotiate for at least a 6-figure deal. Which Impact will not give him, which I don't think they can afford a 6-figure deal for anybody, let alone Killer Cross. Here's where things get interesting. The reason why Killer Cross is asking for a release is because there's a lot of interest in him right now. In the last year, he's put his name on the radar so much so that there has been interest in the WWE and in AEW for him. So I get that. I get his thing in that he wants to make more money. However, Impact makes a very good point. When they signed him a year ago, he was virtually on the national scale and nobody knew who he was.
Right.
Nobody was willing to pay him anything. They made him a big name in the last year and a half. So I can see how unfair they would think it would be. Like, now that you've made yourself big, you want to leave because we can't afford it, but you signed a contract and you're only big because we made you big. That's kind of a funny situation.
Well, I didn't know who Killer Cross was until I started watching Impact.
I got to admit, he's a really interesting wrestler. I like what he does. I like his approach. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, because for one thing, I do not think Impact is going to back down. I don't think they're going to release him. Look at the whole things they're going with Eli Drake right now,
Yes.
They're obvious.
Apparently, WB is showing interest in him.
In Eli Drake, yes, but they can't.
But who knows where that's going to go.
Until Impact, if Impact doesn't do anything and keeps as a breach of contract, Eli Drake can't even sign for a year.
Yeah.
So
so who knows where that's gonna go?
exactly. So it's an interesting situation. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. Is Killer Cross going to be not showing much? Is he going to continue wrestling? And hey, here's another cool thing. And I don't know if you knew this, but do you know who Killer Cross's girlfriend is?
No idea.
Well, she's on Impact. I'll give you a hint for that.
Uh-oh.
Rebecca Bardot, or Scarlett Bardot, sorry.
Scarlett Bordeaux.
Is his girlfriend, longtime partner.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Wow. Interesting stuff. Like, she's also right now making quite a name for herself. So this is a kind of a sticky situation. I'm wondering how this is going to turn out. We'll keep an eye on it, fans. Obviously, we're all curious to see where it goes. Well, let's move on to some other news. I know there was a couple signings out there this week.
Yep.
A guy who I know, Jack Evans, sorry, from excuse me, folks, if I'm sounding a little off today, I'm still feeling a little bit dragged over the coals. Jack Evans, who's actually from the Calgary area, wrestled quite a bit in this area, longtime partner of Teddy Hart, signed to AEW. So that's interesting.
Yes, which actually leads into one of the matches that the best friends were taken out of the Battle Royal. They've been putting a tag team match on the main show.
Yeah. So
they've been added. They're going to face Angelico and Jack Evans.
Yeah, and Angelico is actually the other wrestler I should have brought up. He also of AAA fame signed to AEW. So a double shot of AAA people going into AEW. One thing I find really interesting too is now we don't usually talk too much about WWE stuff, but we should address this situation here. Is the signing of DJZ, longtime Impact wrestler, longtime ROH wrestler.
Yep.
Now, me and you commented, we've seen him recently, I think it was on MLW, and he had looked so different than what we've seen him. So
different, yes.
But here's a guy who's an extremely hard worker, battled some serious cancer scare a year or two ago, but got his stuff in order, back in a super healthy way, and off to WWE. Good on him. Good wrestler.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you caught this one though. Another AEW signing. I saw this I think last week or a couple of days ago. Jerry Lynn. Yeah.
Jerry Lynn?
Jerry Lynn's in as well.
As what?
Jerry Lynn is signed to AEW.
As a producer?
I don't know if he's gonna be a coach or something. Yeah, I'm not sure.
He's definitely not a talent. He's definitely not going to be a talent. I mean, I interviewed Jerry Lynn about 3 years ago, 4 years ago at an event, and he told me that his wrestling days were over. Like, he's too much pain.
Yeah, so I guess he's gonna be I think he's gonna be coaching some of the guys in the company.
Yeah, there's a lot of
working with them.
You gotta wonder, all these people who are all of a sudden being signed to AEW. Is this gonna be is it gonna cause a little bit of resentment and grief? I mean, today I saw that Paul Turner, longtime ROH referee, signing to AEW. How weird is that?
Jeez.
Yeah, even referees.
They seem to be signing everyone.
I can just see them now. AEW announces Elio Canella signed as ticket taker for AEW. He'll no longer take tickets at WWE or ROH events. He'll only take them at AEW.
Oh no, Vince is going to probably tack more time onto my contract.
Yeah, he's going to make you sit in the back, and you're not even allowed to touch tickets. You can only just sit in back in catering and wish you had a ticket.
Oh no.
This is a tough life. This is. Anyways, before we go on, do you have any more news before we? I have an injury report.
For more news, no, that's about it. All I can say is, again with AEW, apparently they're close to landing on TBS, which is a bit weird.
That's interesting.
That's about it.
That's interesting. We'll see.
That's about it. I haven't. Actually, I don't know if you have TBS out there, but we don't have TBS here anymore.
Oh, you don't? No, we do have TBS.
Ours changed their name.
What did they change?
No, ours changed their name to Peachtree TV.
You know what? I think it's called that out here too, and it's still TBS. But I think you're right. I think I have seen Peachtree TV. Interesting. I don't even. Ever since wrestling went off TBS, I don't think I've watched TBS in years. I mean, the channel's still out here.
Yeah, but, I haven't watched in years.
Yep. I mean, dinner and movie. I don't, forget it. Okay.
So that's about it for news for me.
Okay. There is one other news item we're going to talk about, a very big item. But before we do that, I just want to touch on an injury report. Santana of LAX hurting his knee over the last weekend. which I hope is minor, because I got to tell you, since we have been covering Impact, I've seen a lot now of LAX, and I really enjoy these guys. They're a hell of a tag team.
Yep.
They're unique. They have
Santana
some really
and
unique.
Ortiz.
They're kind of a great combination of a touch of luchador, but a lot more brawling and regular wrestling mixed in. And I enjoy.
I like this LAX a lot better than the original.
Oh yeah. It's been years. I when we first started doing this show, there was the whole LAX originals against the we just caught the end of that. And I wasn't sure what to think of this new LAX, but I really enjoy this LAX a lot better. But you know what? I want to talk about something that happened last week, and there's something of a rarity, and it's caused a bit of a debate amongst us and some of the guys over at POV, the way it was handled, and that is the death of Silver King, famous AAA wrestler, dying in London last week of a heart attack in the middle of the match. Now, Elio, you tell me why people are a little bit finding controversy in this.
So I tuned out of the world of wrestling over the weekend, so I had just recently heard about this, and I'd seen it on the Facebook, and so I was looking around seeing if the match was available, and I found it on YouTube, and I went and watched it. So it was just basically it was a match between Guerreros and Silver King. Then somewhere in the middle of the match, he just apparently they said he had a heart attack and collapsed in the middle of the ring, and for 6 minutes, no one knew that he had died, and the referee was just standing by the ropes next to him. And they decided to finish the match anyways, not knowing what had happened.
Mm-hmm. Now, why are some people upset by this, Elliot?
Well, some felt that they should have picked up on something being not right in the match.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yep.
How do you feel about that, Elio? After watching what you watched, do you have your honest opinion? What do you feel coming out of that after you saw the match and you saw
that was a little weird, because I saw him collapse in the ring, and he was motionless, and then I figured, okay, stop the match, right? I'm sure it's the right thing to do. Why would you continue a match when there's something clearly wrong? But anyway, they decided to continue on, and Juventud went over to pin him, but he should have picked up that something was wrong, because he was trying to roll him over, and he couldn't. Then finally they did. They just pinned him, and then the referee was standing there for I don't know how long it was by the ropes. And after the bell rang, Juventud celebrating, and Silver King's just laying there in the middle of the ring.
Okay, now wrestling fans, I've been thinking about this a lot since I saw what Rick Serrano had talked to me about it. He was a bit up in arms, feeling that, there wasn't any medical things around. But I want to give you my perspective, which in my case is a little bit unique, because I've actually been backstage and worked with wrestling companies. I'm going to tell you a little story about when I worked with a wrestling company out here in Edmonton, where I was the ring announcer for about 6 months.
Oh,
and a lot of the time. They would tell me when things were going to happen, blah, 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 you're going to do this, that, But sometimes they wouldn't tell me when a spot would happen to get my reaction too, okay?
Oh.
And I think back to a spot I was watching in a tag team match where a young guy came down really awkward. I mean, he came down on his side really awkward. Not like I've ever seen a wrestler come down. It looked bad. Everyone just went, and he kind of rolled out of the ring and laid on the ground. Match kept going on.
Okay.
And I'm looking over, and it looked like this guy was really, really hurt. Everybody in the crowd was like, what's going on? People were not sure. The wrestling kept going.
Right.
My wife, who just happened to be with me, came over and leaned over and said, go help that guy. He looks like he's hurt. I wasn't sure what to do. Finally, I get up to do something. And you know what? Mm-hmm. It was a work. The guy he hadn't really injured himself at all. Now here's where the problem comes in. Okay, and I know this. Okay. I've gone to wrestling training seminars, and I've gone with people who've talked to indie wrestlers and stuff. And the things they tell you is about making it as believable looking as you can. They talk about the last thing they want is some really cool thing to happen that they've set up, and then somebody to ruin the illusion by not either selling it or by acting weird or whatever. And that's kind of the situation we live in. I mean, as far as anyone obviously knew, Juventud Guerrero, in my mind, could have thought, okay, Silver King's going to pretend that I really hurt him. That's why he's going to act like he's knocked out so that it looks so realistic. Right. I mean, that's the whole point. Where they're guys in spandex running around, throwing fake moves and fake chops and fake punches and fake kicks. So when these things happen, when something really does happen, it's a little bit hard to tell unless the guy's head rolls off his shoulders or, you know what I mean? Because these guys are trying their best to take a punch that misses you by a half an inch and making it look like they got hit with a 2x4.
Yeah, so, it's kind of like the boy like cried wolf.
Well, exactly. So, I mean, people could say, well, there should have been medical people around and a doctor. And I say, bullshit. No, this is wrestling. Unless they're going to be doing some kind of thing where they're going to purposely cut themselves, and we've seen that sort of nonsense. Yeah. If it's wrestling, why do you need a doctor? I mean, I'm not really punching you, Elio. I'm not really kicking you. I'm not really... We're in indie wrestling, and we're lucky if we make $50 a night to get in the ring in our underwear and fight each other. Why are we going to pay $300 for a doctor at ringside who's just going to stand there and look disdain at us anyways, knowing what we're doing? Yep. You know who the problem? The problems here are, well, obviously, and I don't want to sound like I'm being a jerk here, but you can't tell me Silver King didn't realize he had some kind of heart problems going in. Nobody just has a heart attack. That's rare that an athlete has a heart attack out of nowhere. You know,
this is true. I mean,
there are indications and there are things that, right? I mean, when we hear about these things, when you know people have heart attacks, they've known things leading up to it. There's like a bit of warning signs. There's a little bit of things, especially an athlete, someone like Silver King, who every night is moving around. He obviously had to felt off. He obviously had to feel something.
Also, look at the... We don't bring up the WWE match like we always say, but look at the Hall of Fame Ultimate Warrior the night before the night that he was inducted, and then the next day on Raw, you can tell he wasn't feeling well already.
Right, but did he give any indication? No, he did his whole warrior shtick. He didn't give one clue that he was sick, and so I'm saying. I don't really think, especially at a smaller level. I get places like the WWE where there's millions of dollars invested into this. But there's not millions of dollars invested into a small lucha match in London, England, run by some small 2-bit company who probably couldn't even afford to rent a doctor, let alone barely pay the wrestlers that came in. This is the nature of indie wrestling. Do we need a commission to regulate the rules about health? No. That's like saying me and you, Elio, are going to do pretend stage fights down at the park with swords, but we better consult with real doctors in case one of us slips and bangs or something. Like, that's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that I'm not going to put the blame on anyone. I can't even blame Juventud. For all I know, Juventud could be thinking, man, Silver King's really pouring it on today, making it look like I did awesome. Oh, thanks, buddy. You know what I mean? I don't think for a second.
Right. Also with Paraguayo, Rey Mysterio was blaming himself for Paraguayo Jr.'s death.
Yeah, I mean, wrestlers blaming themselves. I mean, even in that case, it was pretty much after they did the whole autopsy, they pretty much determined that dude was dead before Rey even hit him. You know, he broke his neck as he fell into the ropes, way before Mysterio even kicked him. So this is one of the scary, unfortunate parts of professional wrestling that can happen. It doesn't happen very often. This is a pretty rare thing. It is a little bit disconcerting that this is the second time in so many years that it's been a Mexican wrestler from the same type of background and companies. So I think maybe, you know what, I'm not going to blame the promoters, and I'm not certainly going to blame Juventud Guerrero, and I'm not even going to blame Silverfish, or Silver King, sorry. I just really think that this is just something that a lot of times can come down to a bit of ego, where people have to be a little more, I look at it like work, right? Sometimes I go to work and I'm sick, and I'm really super sick, and I work till they send me home, which is kind of stupid and egotistical on my behalf, because I know I'm sick, and I shouldn't be working if I'm sick. My boss doesn't want me to work if I'm sick, but in my head, I think I'm letting down my team. But am I really that effective if I'm not working at my full capacity? And that's where sometimes I think we have to look at too, is wrestlers have to address that. They have to look at the fact that if you're not feeling good this night, if you really are off, is it worth the $50 you're going to make to get into the ring to perform for a couple people? I mean, let's be honest. If this hadn't happened, me and you and nowhere in this world would ever have known that match even took place. I mean, it's just a small crowd. And
I didn't even know there was an event going on that night.
Exactly. So I really, it's sad, but hey, Elio, if we were somewhere right now and somebody had a heart attack, would you know what to do? Honestly?
Nope.
Me neither. So why should a bunch of guys who are dressed up in their underwear pretending to be wrestlers have to know first aid either? It's a sad, unfortunate thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the answer is. I'm not going to blame anyone in this situation, but it is a sad and scary situation. And I know there's people who are going to disagree with me. But like I said, I've been at events, I've been backstage where guys have done a spectacular looking injury thing where you could have swore that guy was hurt so bad, and in the end it just turned out to be some really good wrestling. So I'm not sure. Where do you go for there, eh?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But let's get over the sad talk here, and let's talk a little bit about. And by the way, God bless you, Silver King. You put in some great matches. You're obviously a legend in luchador wrestling. I've seen you before. I knew who you were. I've watched your matches, and it's a sad, tragic loss. And we here at WPOV Global and WPOV Wrestling wish the very best for your family, and we thank you for the service you put in entertaining the masses for millions of years. Well, millions of matches and millions of people. Not years. You're not that old. But I've still got a head cold here, folks. So, you know what? Let's turn our attention right now over to. Usually I would do New Japan first, but I'm going to do ROH War of the Worlds and just get this out of the way. Okay? First of all, Elio.
Oh, okay. All right.
I got to tell you how disappointed I am in War of the Worlds. Okay? 4 nights. Uh-oh. 4 nights where you bring the best of, supposedly bringing the best of ROH and New Japan wrestlers together for these events. And basically, it was 3 pretty boring nights with a few mixed okay matches and 1 night that had a few cooler matches. But this was not any spectacular event by any chance. You know?
So what about the 4th night? That was a card that I ran down last week with all those matches.
The 4th night was...
How many of them were actually good?
They were okay, but I mean, this whole concept, I remember that back in the day that War of the Worlds used to be like a big event where ROH, you were seeing top stuff, you know, you were seeing the top wrestlers. And in this, I really felt like there really wasn't that great of stuff given to us, you know?
Okay.
The Shinobi Hit Squad was managed to be in some of this. I mean, come on. I mean, and I'm not laughing at the fact...
Shinobi Shadow Squad.
Yeah, I'm not going to laugh at the fact that, you know, we make fun of those guys a little bit, but if you're having a giant WrestleMania type event, do you really care what, you know, what... I can't even think of it. I'm trying to think of the lowest jobber back in the day. What would you care if the Gobbledygooker won? Or did you care if the Red Rooster pinned, you know...
Dwayne Gill or Dale Wolf.
Yeah, you know,
one of those jobbers from the...
Yeah.
I can't believe I know those names. Wow.
You know, I'm looking back and I'm thinking to myself, like, there was a few good... You know, I watched each night. Some of it was truly dreadful.
Yep.
Some of the matches were pretty bad. I did really... I'm going to point out, I loved PCO taking on Matt Taven, which was a pretty fun match, except the end was pretty sucky. There was a spot...
PCO's matches are always fun.
Yeah. There was a spot in there you would have loved, Elio. I don't know if you saw this match, but there was a spot where he grabbed Matt Taven and he hucks him out of the ring, right? And then he starts, you know, when they dance around like they're going to jump over him, he jumps, bounces off the ropes, and then jumps out the wrong side of the ring onto nothing.
Oh, geez.
Then he gets up, hops back in the ring, and jumps out the other side and nails him. Yeah, just classic PCO. I was surprised that Matt Taven got a clear pin on him. So I don't know. I really think that they should be doing a little more with PCO. I mean, he's definitely hot right now. The people love him. Do something a little more with this guy.
Isn't he a champion?
Well, he's a tag team champion. Or he was a tag team champion. Sorry, no, it's gone. That's gone. Remember, they lost that belt the first defense they had against the Guerrillas of Destiny.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right, yes.
Yeah, they gave those guys the belts at... are they still... No, I guess they're the NWA champions now, aren't they? Because the Crockett Cup, didn't they win the NWA tag team belts for winning the... Yeah.
I thought I saw them. I I thought I saw them coming out with these belts.
Yeah. Well, fans, forgive us for not recognizing it, but I mean, really, who was even the NWA Tag Team Champions before they won it? I don't even remember. Like,
I couldn't even tell you.
yeah. They won in the Crockett Cup last week, and to be honest, I didn't even realize that the belts were up for grabs either. I thought it was just the Crockett Cup tournament thing.
Wow. What is going on? All these like bizarre events that like out of nowhere.
Yeah, who knows, eh? Welcome to indie wrestling. So yeah, the last night of the event, there's some things obviously we're going to have to catch up on ROH TV now. I didn't get to see this week's ROH TV. Maybe it filled it in, but for some reason now, remember how I said, wouldn't it be awesome if PJ Black joined Lifeblood? Well, they're kind of referring to him as a member of it recently, so I don't know what that's about. Maybe he did join them.
Oh, wow.
There was some weird...
I watched ROH this week.
Did they talk about it? PJ Black joining...
I didn't hear anything.
Okay,
I just,
maybe we'll get that out somewhere else.
Watching because I was...
Okay,
yeah.
The way they tape things, who knows? Maybe this happened on one of the live events and I missed it, and it'll show up on ROH TV in like 3 months or something. Who knows? But one thing I got to say, there was two things I'm going to bring up. One, the good and the bad, we'll call it. The good was definitely the Guerrillas of Destiny taking on the Briscoes was actually a very good match. Really enjoyed it. The GOD winning, still holding both belts, so that was a bit surprising.
Oh, okay.
Now for the bad, and which coincides with a bit of ugly, Kenny King pretending he was blinded for the last little while. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? He was on this week's edition of ROH, and he came out with the dark glasses and the walking stick.
Now, I'm sure they'll explain that over ROH TV, but I didn't know what was going on. He came out every night pretending to be blind, but then he miraculously regained his sight and beat Jay Lethal on the last night. So
wow.
Must have been a miracle. Must have been a miracle. That's kind of ugly and bad, but whatever. Overall, I'm gonna say I was a little bit disappointed in the ROH War of the Worlds. It was just sort of middle of the road, and this is what ROH can't afford to be, middle of the road. And how can you be middle of the road when New Japan was loaning you talent, and yet you still managed to put in a middle of the road events? They weren't even worth watching all four. I'm gonna say that. Okay. There were parts of each one that were okay, but overall, watching all 4 nights, I felt really let down. Like more than half of it, they could have not even bothered with, and I would have been happy.
I mean, I wanted to watch it, but I was like, I wanted to watch it, but I saw the NJPW Super Junior Cup. I'm like, I should probably watch that one first.
That you should, because you know what? We got some tremendous wrestling, and we're actually going to switch over now, folks. We're going to talk about the New Japan Pro Wrestling Junior Cup. It's on right now, the Super Juniors.
Now,
this is.
Now I have a question. How long are each show? How long is each show? 4 hours, right?
No, actually, they're a little bit shorter on these ones, just because they're probably about 3 to 3.5. Mostly because there's a 20-minute time limit on the matches. On the
okay.
On the
so in 2 days I saw. In 2 days I saw 6 hours of NJPW. Wow.
Probably maybe a little. If you watched, did you watch the beginning matches too? Then that's probably.
I saw every match on day 1 and day 2. Every match.
Okay. Well, let's talk a bit about. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the New Japan Cup. We're gonna start off with day 1 had some interesting showings in it. I'm trying to find. I'm just actually looking for my notes right now on this. I just had a bunch of notes for it, but I seem to. All I can remember from day 1 for sure was definitely the match of the night was Sho versus Shingo Tagagi. Shingo?
Oh, that was a great match. Shingo Tagagi versus Sho. That was awesome.
That was a tremendous.
That was a really great match. Yes.
Now. The reason they've really been working up this sort of feud between Shingo and Sho, and Sho, working his ass off, did not get the win. So obviously this is a feud that is going to continue. I'm really curious to see how far they can take that sort of thing, you know? And you know what was interesting about it? Like, I know some people talk about, like they complain about... sometimes Japanese wrestling doesn't tell a lot of stories. Like, you don't get a lot of, like, things don't make a lot of sense as they could have. And I kind of counter and say, you know what? It seemed like it seemed like a lot of stuff made a lot of sense in this match. You know,
all these events themselves don't make sense because they all lead up to like one giant conclusion.
yeah, you know, and there's some really great.
Like you have the road to Dontaku, the road to G1.
The road to Don Taco. You're making me hungry. Who's this Don? But like we said, like this tournament really goes on to determine who is going to be the number one contender for the junior heavyweight division. And I got to tell you, this is really some really good matches going on here. I wasn't sure what to think because it seems like the last couple of years they have made this tournament not what's the word? Like it hasn't been as played up and as important seeming as other tournaments.
Okay.
But this year, they've gone the big route, man. They've gone like the full 20 stars. They're gonna go. They're gonna go the full distance here, and I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, though, definitely the main event was definitely the coolest one. But let's quickly go over some of the other matches, okay? Tiger Mask.
Okay. Actually, I have them listed here.
Yeah,
actually.
Me too. Tiger Mask 4D defeating Tako Michinoku. Surprising. Tiger Mask getting up there in age.
Yep.
Thought maybe Taka would put in a bigger showing, but it's not like he's a young guy either. Titan.
I have to say, like I'm seeing Taka Michinoku a lot more now than I did in the WWF.
Well, yeah, because he's Zack Saber's mouthpiece, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Now this always kind of I know the way they pronounce things sometimes is funny, but they always call Titan Teton in New Japan. Defeating Yoshinobu Kanemaru. Okay. I was a little surprised, but Titan's a pretty good wrestler. Marty Scurll defeating Jonathan Gresham. Mm-hmm. That one was... I wasn't sure where that was going to go. And I got to say, it surprises me that that Scurll is actually in the junior heavyweights this year. I thought they were going to bump him up to the heavyweights, but Scurll gets the win. We talked about Shingo taking on Sho, and then the main event... Ishimori defeating Dragon Lee. So he gets a pin on the champion. And you know what that means in New Japan? That means Ishimori is guaranteed a title shot coming up. So he may not be the number one contender, and he may not get it at a giant event, but he definitely... You pin... anyone who pins Dragon Lee during this tournament gets an automatic title shot later. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing to keep an eye on.
Wow. Okay.
Now, that was first night. Night 2... was pretty exciting. And here's something we didn't mention is just before the tournament started, 2 wrestlers were removed from the tournament and replaced with other wrestlers. Flip Gordon removed from the tournament because he could not get his visa, his working visa. So he was denied entry into the country. So they pulled him. And El Desperado, knee injury still. Replaced with 2 wrestlers, Dookie and Ren Narita. Dookie's sort of a guy who's around.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was going to ask. Who is this Dookie?
Okay. He's sort of been a guy floating around in Japan's kind of like indie scene. He's really well versed in Mexican wrestling. Spent many years in Mexico. He is obviously in right now. He came out with Tai Chi, so he's obviously going to be in with Suzuki Gun. So that's he's definitely got those guys backing him. And Ren Narita is one of the young lions who still has yet to go on excursion. Yep. So ironically, opening night of Block B, we had Dookie defeating Ren Narita. Not too surprising. Most young lions really struggle in these kind of matches, but it gives them. They're not expected to do a lot, but it really gets them some work in and stuff like that. Second match, Robbie Eagles defeating Rocky Romero. Kind of surprised. I thought Rocky was going to go a little further in this one. Robbie Eagles almost seems like he could be the younger brother of Facade. Almost. Not quite book-worthy, but he sure is goofy looking.
Oh, boy.
Now, my pick for the winner, El Fantasmo defeating Bandito. Talk about a great matchup in the first round. Oh,
that match. I was actually earlier tonight, while all the messages were going on in Messenger, I was watching that match at the same time.
It's a really good match. The only thing I gotta admit,
that was really good.
I don't like how El Fantasmo at the end has to do some kind of cheap win to get it, but the rest of the match he really showed himself doing the rope walking, doing all his crazy stuff. Pulls off, he does this thing to Bandito's mask and then gets him with a few moves. So kind of a little disappointed in that, but I guess he is.
Oh, is that where he lifted
Yeah.
He lifted the mask up momentarily. Yeah, okay, yeah, I saw that part.
Here's another boy. Some of these matches were just like main event caliber. Will Ospreay defeating Bushi. Ospreay looking good, nursing a bit of a sore neck, taking a few bumps, but gets. Did you see him catching? Bushi tries to spit the green mist in his face, and he gets a wraparound kick, kicks him in the face, knocks the mist up, and takes him out. Pretty good, pretty cool moves on Ospreay. Oh. And then this one really surprised me because of all these great matches. You had El Phantasmo versus Bandito, Will Ospreay versus Bushi, but instead they made the main event Taguchi versus Yo, which was, I get that they're hometown boys, but there was some definitely more intriguing matchups. Taguchi winning, defeating Yo, which surprised me. I thought Yo was really going to have a better showing. Taguchi, however, is probably one of the most decorated New Japan light heavyweights out there. Most people don't realize that. He has spent many years in the Super Tournament. He has won so many times. He's been in the top 2 or 3 for years. And, we make the coach likes to make fun of stuff. He comes out goofy a lot with his get-ups and his silliness.
Yep.
But sometimes when this man gets down to business, there is nobody as crisp and in there as Taguchi. And that's what he did tonight. Tonight he took it to Yo, and great match. And takes up the point. So that's just the start of the Super. That's just day 1 and 2. We got a bunch more nights, folks. Next week we'll have a bunch more to talk about, and then in our third week we'll be talking about the finals. But so far, interesting guys in there. People who catch my eye.
I know they start early.
Yeah. Now the guys who catch my eyes right now.
They start like at 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Right.
The guys who are catching my interest right now, definitely El Phantasmo. Looked really good, just as I hoped he would. Shingo is looking like a bit of a tank in there. And Taguchi, of course, if he keeps up, but it usually doesn't keep. A lot of time he'll devolve back into his butt and everything persona and whatever. But this is an interesting tournament. We'll see where it goes from there. Folks, I think we're going to take a bit of a break and get into our regular 4 shows that we usually talk about. It's been a big, long episode. We've talked about some tragic things, some funny things, and a lot of wrestling. So we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hello, this is Miguel Cole from the Wrestling POV podcast. Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global is affiliated with the Collar and Elbow brand. Go to collarandelbowbrand.com and save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Collar and Elbow has t-shirts, hoodies, sunglasses, and more. And the best part, you're helping out your local indie wrestlers. And you're helping out the best wrestling podcast of all, Wrestling POV and Wrestling POV Global. You don't want to miss out. So save yourself 10% by using promo code WPOV. Oh my goodness!
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to the Wrestling POV podcast.
Hey folks, I don't know about you, but that was a nice, refreshing little break. It's time we get into our regular shows. As you know, me and Elio cover 4 companies regularly who have regular television programming, and we're going to start off this week with our WWE NXT UK report. Now, there's a few things I want to talk about on this one. I'll go over quickly here, and I'm going to get Elio's opinion on some of it. All right, we start off our match. We have the general manager, or I guess the assistant to him, coming out talking about a fatal 4-way match in 4 weeks to determine the next challenger for Walter or Pete Dunne, whoever wins the next match. Now, unfortunately about Tape TV, we know already who's won, but we're not going to say it right now. But you fans probably know. All right, match number 1. Mustache Mountain taking on Wild Boar and Primate. Okay. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I know. I think we're going the same place with this. Mustache Mountain is a great looking tag team and they wrestle good. Stupid name, kind of takes away from stuff. But these 2 idiots, Wild Boar and Primate.
It's not as stupid as these guys.
Oh my god, these guys are bad. Like, they're these 2 balding, shorter idiots who dress like animals. Like, I mean, you watch the match and Primate, anytime that he got ahead, he blew his move because he's too busy acting like a primate for a few seconds and gets nailed. Like, it's just terrible. And Wild Boar looks like he's like 5'2". I mean, he's just this little fat dude with an ugly.
Wait.
I'm not sure why they're trying to push these guys. I'm glad Mustache Mountain did not lose to these guys. Okay.
Oh my.
Yeah. Go ahead, say it. Your thoughts on Wild Boar and
No, it's just they're terrible. Oh, the hunt. Just wait till we get to the book.
oh my gosh.
I'm gonna have some things to
Oh
say.
boy, okay. I don't blame you because the hunt is terrible. Then they had a little thing backstage where Amir Jordan and Kenny Williams were supposed to be in the main event tonight, taking on the grizzled young veterans. But Amir Jordan looks like he was jumped by somebody, and so they're helping him out, and that starts the chaos. And then things get really boring when Joe Coffey comes out and
oh no,
takes on Flash Morgan Webster, the Mod Father.
It's now. It's funny that since they were in Scotland, Joe Coffey went into this match as a face.
Yes, and it was sort of kind of strange watching Morgan being really rattled that the fans were booing him, and he didn't really know what to take. Now, my family's from Scotland, and I've told you how much I find Gallus boring as hell. So I don't know if the people in Scotland are just really that desperate for wrestling that they're going to cheer Gallus, but they cheered boring old Coffey, and Coffey wins. This match puts him into the Fatal 4-Way match coming up, so I guess.
Okay.
Then, if that wasn't boring enough, Gallus has to come in and do a whole talk about, I don't know. I'm falling asleep thinking about it. I'm just going to skip it.
You know what? It's okay because I couldn't even understand the word they were saying.
Yeah, it was all nonsense. I am kind of interested in this Ilya Dragunov guy that they're bringing in. He looks interesting. I don't know nothing about him. Maybe I'll try and look something up about him. Figure out who the hell this guy is before we see him. Okay, this is where a part of me cringes. Nina Samuels taking on Casey Owens.
You mean Ginny's older sister?
Well, Jenny looks a lot older.
Sorry, you didn't hear me say that name.
Okay.
You didn't hear me say that name.
They said something that was right on level with all the things I hate about Jenny. First of all, Nina Samuels is so damn boring. I mean, at least Jenny looks like she's trying. Samuels looks bored as hell out there. You know, she really looks like she could care less.
You know what? Now that you mention it, she does.
Now,
she really disappointed me.
Now this is what drove me mad. And
Nina Samuels.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know who said it. Maybe it was. I'm gonna look back. And if it was our friend Nigel McGuinness, you're back in the book. Okay. During this match, at the end of the match, Samuels pours off a very poor weekly version of Hiroki Goto's move, Yushigoroshi, where you like bring a guy down and cross your knee.
Oh yeah, they. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the announcers are coming. Nigel said she calls it the Nina Goroshi.
Yeah, when I heard that, I just about lost my lunch. At least do the move half-ass if you want to steal that idiot. My God. The Nina Goroshi. Oh, brother. It was McGuinness, wasn't it?
I'm sorry, I remember that.
No. It
was him, yes.
Glad. Okay, he's back in the book, motherfucker. Oh, sorry. Well, excuse my language, but come on, the Nina Goroshi. You're back in the book, Nigel. We're getting to the book.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, it was sort of a crappy match.
Yep.
I'm going to skip some of the stuff. Dave Mastiff against Wolfgang. Boy, that really sounds unexciting. That's right up there with me.
Yeah, Dave Mastiff don't care.
Yeah. And you know what? James Drake and Zach Gibson are pretty boring wrestlers. The grizzled young veterans,
they are
pretty boring. Kenny Williams comes out. He doesn't have a tag team. Well, first, Zach Gibson starts saying, Amir Jordan was hurt, so there's not going to be a match. You knew right away because you'd have to be like under 12 years old to not realize that means someone else is going to fill in. Out comes Noam Dar, who the fans love, of course, because he's from Scotland. Noam Dar comes out, puts on a great match. Unfortunately, they end up losing to Drake and Gibson, and that ends this week's UK. Wow, the champion. I don't know, man. James Drake and Zach Gibson.
This was a pretty boring episode, I have to say.
It really was, No,
actually, this was a pretty... Yeah.
I'm going to give it a C. I'm going to give it a C. Almost a C minus. No, you know what? The Nina Goroshi makes it a C minus.
You know what? The Nina Goroshi should be going in the book.
You know what? Well, we know Nigel McGuinness is going back in for talking like that. No, I'm just going to put him in because he's the one who said it. So, yeah, that's this week's WWE NXT UK. Kind of a boring snoozer this week, which was really, Noam Dar was okay, but the match itself was pretty bad. Not a lot here. Not a lot in this week's episode. Why don't we take a look at ROH Wrestling?
Okay, so ROH this week opened up with the Bouncers defeating Shinobi Shadow Squad and Coast to Coast in a triple threat tag match.
Oh, brother.
So, okay, not really much to say in this one.
No, not really. This match...
Bouncers,
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, not much to say in this match.
Yeah, let's not even say much about it, to be honest. It wasn't that great of a match. Next.
Yeah. And the second one, Josh Woodson defeated... I didn't get this guy's name. I heard the first name. I think it was Flex Simmons I have written down. I'm not even sure. Well, because I couldn't hear it well.
In our minds, he's just Flex Jobber. Because anybody who does...
Yeah. And in the main event, had Bandito defeating Shane Taylor.
What did you think of this match?
You know what? Any match involving Shane Taylor is just boring. So I cheer for whoever is facing Shane Taylor at that moment.
Yeah, it was. Bandito's a good wrestler, but he can only carry a sack of potatoes so long. And
now the one segment they had was Kenny King coming out, being accompanied to the ring, and he had his sunglasses and he had his walking stick with him, and he was talking about how he went to congratulate the great Muda, and Muda blew mist into his face and blinded him.
Oh my lord!
And he called he called Matt Taven his homie, and he's not going after Matt Taven, but when he regains his eyesight, he's going after Jay Lethal.
His homie, huh? Okay.
Matt Taven's his homie. That's what he said.
Wow. You know what? Another. That's two programs, and I'm going to give this one a C- too, because this was pretty bad.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Yeah, no. This was. You know what? I was out last night, but where I was, I had internet connection, so I did watch it while I was out, and it was pretty not a very entertaining show.
Well, that's too bad. It's two now. Let's hope our next.
It's two.
Let's hope our next. Okay. Let's turn our attention to MLW Fusion. And I'm going to happy to say that while there may not have been the best wrestling on it, there was actually some pretty interesting stuff on it, and it definitely wasn't a C- night.
Oh my god, there's one interesting backstage segment.
Yeah, the end. We'll get to that.
I'm not sure what to think about this, but yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, so we open up with Joseph Samuel saying that, Barrington Hughes has been unstoppable, but now he has to face Jacob Fatu, so that's all going to change. Of course, Barrington Hughes weighs 9 tons, so that's probably the only reason he's unstoppable, is even he can't stop his weight. So, okay, we start off Airwolf versus Ray Phoenix. Now, when I saw this match, sometimes, the part of you that's not the fan, the part of you that knows a bit about booking and knows about things goes, why? Like, why on earth would 19-year-old Airwolf get a surprise win over Ray Phoenix? Part of me wonders if it's because Ray Phoenix is headed off to AEW. You talked about them being signed there. Maybe that's why. Mm-hmm. But Phoenix wrestled circles around this kid, and then loses by a quick roll up. So, and there was all the time, the announcers talking about how Airwolf, a win over Phoenix would make his career and establish him. And I'm thinking, okay, they're here to establish him. Got it. Phoenix looking good. Love that move where he jumps off the top turnbuckle and then spin kicks someone in the face. He did that. Mm-hmm. Good match. Airwolf taking a surprising win.
Yeah, that was surprising to see him pull out the win over Phoenix.
Now, surprisingly, they're talking about Austin Aries will be soon coming to MLW, so that's going to be interesting.
Yes, I saw that when I was watching the video, the episode on YouTube. I saw a video above that said Austin Aries coming to MLW. Now,
the one thing I don't understand here, they finally have Barrington Hughes versus Jacob Fatu. This match was if you blinked, you missed it.
Oh my god! You know what? I was all I hear was 1, 2, 3, and that's it. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
that's it.
Fatu gets in a super kick, nails Barrington Hughes, and that's it. I guess when you're an 800-pound sack of flour, if you just get kicked in the face, you're done. Wow.
That was terrible. What was that?
No. You know what terrible is? The H2 segment that came next. Oh, my Lord. I know we keep complaining about H2, but It's like mind-numbingly bizarre.
Oh my H2 segment.
Oh, so bad. I'm not going to talk about it because it was just bad. Okay. All right. They talk about Marshall and Ross Von Erich coming in soon. They'll make their debut in Milwaukee. Tom Lawler comes out and says that he's going to beat up the Avalanche. Then our next match.
I'm sorry, who's the Avalanche again?
He was this.
I'm sorry, who's the Avalanche again?
He was that big. He was like some big dude from like Germany or Austria who was in the Battle Riot. He's a champion out.
Oh,
in
okay.
Europe.
All right.
Yeah, he has really no presence. I don't really know him at all. He has no presence right now, and this is his sort of intro into North American wrestling. Big guy, but
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't really all that excited after Battle Riot for him. I didn't think he was that big.
Okay.
Now, next match, a guy that makes you look humongous. 5'2" Ariel Dominguez gets a weird win over Brian Idol. I gotta say, sometimes wrestling companies play their hand. I mean, we've seen Ariel Dominguez get beat up week after week by big name guys. Then when he walked out and he was with a nobody, you knew this was his win.
I've never heard of Brian Idol.
No, me neither. I don't think Brian Idol's heard of Brian Idol, to be honest. Brian Idol really didn't show much. Dominguez did a lot of moving around, gets the win. I guess good on him, but I mean, wow, this is on par with Cheeseburger winning over Joe Flex or whatever his name was. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, who the hell cares? Okay. Wow. I never thought I'd say this, but Sami Callihan teaming with Mance Warner now. They come out and talk to each other that they're going to do this. I always thought it was funny when they're each trying to do their thing where Sammy's like, thumb goes down, and Mance is like, hand goes up.
We're talking about that backstage segment, right?
Yeah. Funny.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. Like, Sami Callihan is a face. I don't know what to make of this.
Do you know what's really funny, too? They made him a face this week in this interview. Did you notice he cleaned himself up? He actually looked like a normal person for once. He looked like he took a shower and combed his hair. Like, he looked...
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I guess he's a face now.
Geez.
I don't know. We're still going to have to see this. If somehow he makes Mance Warner not cool, he's going in the book twice. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait, who's going in the book twice?
Sammy. If he brings Mance down, Mance is the best thing going in MLW. Okay. If he brings him down, I will not be happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I am intrigued by this. I want to see where this goes.
Oh my lord. Okay. Speaking about oddly intriguing things, the special secret camera catching Selena De La Renta and Low Key kind of arguing backstage, looking like maybe there's a rift going on between those two.
Is this the end of Promoción de Dorado?
I don't know, but I think it's going to be. I think it's got to be. What else do you do with Low Key? I mean, he had this undefeated streak for years and years, and they built all that. They got to do something different with him now.
The gold promotion. There's no more.
And then finally, our main event, which I like to subtitle "Two Idiots Who Wear Really Bad Sunglasses." Alex Hammerstone taking on your favorite Gringo Loco in a white boys can match. In a white boys can fight match. It was. I know we make fun of Gringo Loco a lot because he is the whitest Latino-looking wrestler in the world because he dresses like he's Latino, he walks like he's Latino, but he is white as me.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry. No one can be as ridiculous looking as Facade.
No, that is true. That's why Gringo Loco isn't in the book. But although it wouldn't surprise me if Gringo Loco was like his uncle or something. But anyways, actually not too bad of a match. Hammerstone, I don't really buy him much. He doesn't seem really that talented to me.
I just don't get this whole Alexander Hammerstone.
Yeah, I mean, I get that they're pushing him because he's big. I mean, he's one of the bigger guys in MLW. But I don't necessarily feel he's all that talented of a guy in MLW. So we'll have to see where it goes from there. Overall, this week's show, I'm going to give it a B. There wasn't anything that was super great on it. There also wasn't horrible stuff like we saw on the other two shows. So I'm going to give it this week a B for MLW.
Yeah, this one was pretty good. This one was more entertaining than the other two.
All right. Let's head over now to Impact. And gosh, that scares me to think that Impact is the one to see how great the week of wrestling was. But let's see where we go.
Oh, Impact Wrestling. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Impact Wrestling opens up with LAX defeating Moose and Josh Alexander.
Interesting match.
Now it was good to see it was good to see LAX facing two different opponents rather than the usual opponents they've been facing.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice change, eh?
So they picked up the win when Moose accidentally hits his partner with a big boot.
Poor Alex, and that was Josh Alexander, wasn't it, from the north?
That was Josh Alexander. Yes.
Okay.
Then we had Madison Rayne defeating Taya Valkyrie with the half Boston Crab.
Was this even a match?
As Taya quickly taps out.
Was this?
No, this wasn't even a match.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. Taya Valkyrie is not making herself any kind of champion at all. It's
I mean, when I make my notes for Impact, I usually do bullet points, or I do it numbered bullets.
And there was nothing for this one?
This one only had 4. No, this one only had 4. That's about it.
4? That's 3 more than I would have given it to the show. You're digging deep. All right, next. Oh, hey, wait.
And then
wait.
I can't believe I'm...
Wait a second. Did you catch...
I can't believe I'm saying this.
Hold on, Elio.
What's that?
Did you catch Taya trying to bait Josh Matthews by saying, "Oh, your wife's in so much trouble," and Josh Matthews kept saying, "Oh, is Madison's husband here somewhere?"
Oh, I must have missed that part.
Yeah. There's a few points where she did that, and for folks who don't know, Josh Matthews is married to Madison Rayne, so it was sort of funny because she kept going over to Josh and going, "Your wife's gonna get it now," blah blah blah, and he's like, "Oh, hey, is Madison Rayne's husband somewhere in the audience?"
Oh, wow.
Just dumb.
Then we have, and I can't believe I'm saying this. This is the only time I'm going to say this, but apparently next week we're going to have a Demon Collar match between Rosemary and Sue Young.
How much?
You know what? I have to ask, what's after this? Are they going to have a Beelzebub on a pole match?
Why not? Because this crap should have been over so long ago.
Then we had Jordan Grace defeating Alexa Nicole with the Grace Driver. Now, Jordan Grace made a quick work of Alexa Nicole here.
Jordan Grace bitch slapped her. Holy smokes, did she get the crap out of this girl?
She threw her around the ring. I was like, damn.
Yeah. And she threw her hard, because sometimes when you watch wrestling, it looks so choreographed and beautiful when somebody tosses somebody and they land, so gracefully. Man, she threw her around like she was a sack of meat. It was hilarious.
Oh, she threw it across the ring. I was like, ow.
Yeah. Jordan was on fire tonight. She looked great out there.
Then we had Rob Van Dam defeating Ethan Page with a 5-star frog splash. Big surprise there.
Yeah, I think I should downgrade it to a 3-star frog splash. Rob Van Dam is definitely looking old.
Yo, injury update on Brian Cage. His future seems unclear after Rebellion. Mm-hmm. And then we have Michael Elgin and Johnny Impact arguing over which of them sent Brian Cage to the hospital.
Of course.
We had the Desi Hit Squad defeating the Deaners, Brent Banks, and Aiden Prince, and the Rascals in I guess it was a triple threat. I don't even know what. Triple threat tag team match.
It didn't seem like this match was very much. It seemed pretty quick and not a lot of substance.
Yep. And then, did you... Okay. They had LAX hanging out with the Rascals. Did you see this?
I actually did not see this part. I just watched the highlights this week.
So did I, but this is one of the highlights they had on the Impact webpage. LAX hanging out backstage with the Rascals. You know how they do their little whatever backstage thing?
The 70s show thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
LAX was hanging out with them, and they were arguing over the teams that they beat.
Okay.
And the teams that they can beat, and they brought up I don't know how many names. It was just weird. If you go back and watch it, it's just I don't know what to say about that.
Well, you know what I find very ironic here is wrestling companies try to be topical by doing things that seem topical. So how is mocking a show that was popular 5-10 years ago, set in the 70s, for God's sakes, even topical?
The 70s show, didn't that end? When did that end anyway?
I don't know.
In the 2000s or 2000?
I can't even
doesn't
remember.
Matter.
It's been a while. I just know that, how is it even topical? So, I don't know.
Yep. And then in the main event, I can't believe these guys are in the main event. OVE rules, and OVE defeated Tommy Dreamer, Falaba, Willie Mack, and Rich Swann.
You know, surprisingly, this was a pretty good match. But it was what it was, right? I mean, it didn't really mean anything. It didn't have any consequences.
Like, they picked up the win when Callahan hit Willie with the cactus special driver into the building blocks that they brought into the match.
Oh, brother. Overall, how would you rate this show this week, buddy?
You know, I don't even... Jordan Grace... okay, the Jordan Grace match was good, so I'm gonna just leave it at a C. The rest of it were... I can't really say anything about the rest of it. The rest of it was just whatever.
You know, ironically, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I would give it a C. So I guess this week, MLW was the winner of the four, but let's face it, all this wrestling, including War of the Worlds this week, wasn't the greatest, but New Japan, the Super Junior Cup right now, there's some really great wrestling we're seeing on that.
Yes, yeah, I've been enjoying the Super Junior Cup, and this is the first road to anything that I'm actually like caught up on. I've seen day 1 and day 2.
Well, you know what? There's a lot more great wrestling we hope down the road for New Japan. Let's hope the other companies too. MLW, clearly in the last month or two, has been my favorite of the 4 shows we cover. ROH, kind of inconsistent. Impact has glimmers of hope, but a lot of And NXT UK, you never know. Some weeks it's great, and some weeks it's boring. So some weeks you're giving Walter, and some weeks you're giving the Hunt.
Actually, you've last week you made your prediction for Super Junior. This week, after watching these matches, I'm gonna have to go with my picks for to winner Shingo Takagi or El Phantasmo.
Ooh, and they're both on opposite sides. I guess I better pick somebody on the other side too. You know what? Not to be a copycat, but just for this week, we'll see how it progresses. I'm going to go with Shingo too, because I think on the block A, he gave the most dominant performance. And over in block...
My God, I love that. I just love that match with the show.
And on block B, I'm going to say El Phantasmo and Will Ospreay, but Will is looking a little rough right now, so definitely still with El Phantasmo. All right. Now, this is our interesting time of the day where we talk about the book. Do we have the book ready?
Actually, we didn't do the poll.
Oh, we didn't do the poll. What the heck? Oh yeah, I guess we talked about Silver King and stuff. Okay, you know what, folks? We did have.
Well, we got into the Silver King topic, and then we got into the Super Junior.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? We are not going to miss our poll. Fans, you guys take the time to write in and talk about it. So, you know what? Let's take a look at the poll this week. This week's question was, who's ready for AEW's Double or Nothing? The answer was like a hell yeah, or could care less. Well, after the voting was done, 70% of you were hell yeah. 30% said hell no. Let's read some comments here. Randy Schroeder wrote,
okay.
What I'm finally waiting for is the first AEW show on, what is it, TNT Tuesday nights, allegedly the rumor, starting in October. Okay. Rick.
Okay, Rich Bagoo said, hell yeah, I've been waiting forever. Worst case scenario, the show is awesome and the company goes nowhere, but this will be awesome.
All right. Patrick Parker said, could care less, so CM Punk does care. Okay.
Okay, see, Brad Howard Norman said, I'm ready, but I still don't know what channel they'll be on in Canada. We don't get TNT. It's too far from the U.S.
David LeClaire said, I couldn't care less. Ooh, speaking his mind.
Mike Brown says, for $50 on an untested product, I'm going to pass.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? $50 is pretty steep. That's $50 American.
Well, actually, did you see what the streaming service that was gonna air it? Did you see the mix up that they did?
No.
There was a screenshot of it. Apparently, instead of $49.99, they put $4.
Whoa. That's funny.
I know, right? They put $4.99. Everyone would have been upset if they paid a $5 pay-per-view for a show that was $49.99.
Okay. Well, going on with comments, Andrew Cooper, who is wearing the exact T-shirt that I'm wearing right now. Nice T-shirt, Andrew. Says, I'm going to try it. Carmozina Vieira Sweeney says, I'm working, so I'll read about it. I think a lot of people at $50 American are going to read about it. Hey, somebody threw a GIF in here. Des Cook threw a GIF of a sinking ship. Wonder what that means.
Tiffany Sendover says, couldn't care less.
And finally, Elliot Rivera said, is there an in-between? No, and if there was a hater comment, you would have won it. Folks, you know what? The more this is coming up, I mean, I don't even know how I feel about this, Elio. You know, I started off caring a lot. Now I'm almost actually, you know, I just joked about Elliot Rivero. I'm kind of in between at the moment. Part of me likes this, part of me doesn't, because let's face it, what is this even really going to mean, right? I mean, they don't have anything really set up yet. And if they get a TV deal, let's say, right? Let's say they get a TV deal. So anything that happens now doesn't really mean anything. You know, it's just random matches. It's an indie spectacular.
You know what? I'm looking forward to it. I'm just going to be happy just so we don't have to hear about it anymore, because that's all we've been hearing about for the longest time.
That is true. It's getting to the point where it's getting like, okay, do we really have to talk about this again?
Like, that's the only reason I'm looking forward to this, so I don't have to hear about it anymore.
Fair enough. Well, folks, thank you for taking the time to vote. I guess, you know, AEW has been putting together a humongous machine of promo to really push this thing. Before we get into the book, because we're talking this, we got to talk about the points pay-per-view game. Okay, it's a little game that's held by both Global and POV Wrestling. POV Wrestling will be doing one this weekend for what is it? Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Yep.
So basically, how that how that works. If you want to be a part of this, you have to like and share the page, and then you can enter it. You run down the card. You pick down who you think's going to win. You bet points on what's the maximum points you can bet, Elio?
I believe it's like, I think 5 on the regular, and I think it's 10 on championship matches. But they vary from pay-per-view to pay-per-view depending on the WrestleMania. It was some matches were 20 points.
Okay, so when you look at it that way, folks, and I don't forget that you go to on Facebook, go to WPOV Wrestling Podcast. On the page, they'll
Wrestling
have
POV Podcast.
They will have the rules there. They'll have the point structure. All you got to do is fill it in. Now you get the chance to win bragging rights.
All.
But sorry, well you get.
No, I'm saying I said that's all you do.
Yeah, you get the chance to win bragging points. I mean, even Elio and that puppet once cheated to win that thing a few times. I think, right? But you know, you get to. You get bragging rights.
Then he turned on me.
And then he turned on you. That's what happens. Cheaters do not... Anyways. You get a chance to win also a $50 Amazon gift card, which will be given away. I believe there's a loot crate offered at the big ones. Is this considered one of the big pay-per-views? I don't know.
I wouldn't say. I think the big ones are Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, sorry about that.
At least that's what they were when I was growing up.
Okay. So this one will have a $50 gift card from Amazon as the main thing. We'll be running our own pay-per-view points game next week. Definitely try it out, folks. It's fun.
Yep.
It's your chance to flex your mind, trying to think of how would these things play out? If you were the booker, how would you do it? And who knows? I mean, I think with WWE booking, just take a brick, hit yourself really hard in the face with it a few times, and once you get your head really throbbing, you'll probably figure out how they do this booking. It seems that way.
And hey, I won the Money in the Bank pay-per-view last year.
Yeah, you had to bring that up, didn't you? Anyhow,
I didn't even know I won.
Now before we go into the book, we have, I think right now this week I know I have 2 nominees for the book, and I know you have something for the book. This is going to be a book heavy.
I have
day.
something for the book.
All right, Elio, open that book, please, and let's first of all, the Book of Shame.
All right.
The Book of Shame is all about wrestling and things that are wrestling related that annoy us, tick us off, disgust us, make us roll our eyes, anything that is shameful. Well, you know what? We put them in the book as a reminder of their ever-loving shame. So tell us, let's go over open the book. Let's read who's in the book. Let's see if anyone got out this week, because every week we kind of update it to make sure it doesn't go stagnant. And then, like I said, we got some entries for this week.
Yeah, okay. The first entry is Ace Austin.
Oh, yeah. Grow up, buddy. You're still in there.
Then we have El Hijo de Los Angeles Park.
Oh, yeah. The little, oh, my Lord. Until I can seriously look at him and don't think he looks like a little jumping bean. Like, I don't even, he looks like this skinny little elf.
Mini Skeletor. He's a mini Skeletor.
Until he looks like a credible wrestler wearing what he's wearing now. You're in there, Los Angeles Park, Hijo, whatever the hell.
And then we have Facade.
Facade. You'll be the legend because no one will ever put you on TV again looking like that. So yeah, you stay.
Next is that word that starts with F.
Yep. Not even gonna say it this week.
Then we have Jimmy Havoc.
Oh yeah, gross, man. You're in there.
Madman Fulton.
Ugh, yeah.
Rich Swann.
He didn't do anything gross this week. I'm gonna give you one more week of punishment.
One more week.
By next week, if you do something on next week's Impact or whatever show and do something gross and disturbing, you'll go back in.
Sammy Callahan.
Oh, Sammy. You will go in twice if you ruin Vance Warner. You're not getting out of this book, pal.
Then we have the Chris brothers.
Oh my Lord! How these guys even got wrestling contracts is beyond me. You're going to be in there. You're lifetimers, buddies.
And Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, is he still alive? Yes, you're still in there.
Oh my God! Did you see his promo from this week?
No. Whenever I see him, Elio, I turn it off. I can't stand Tommy.
Because what I do is I look at all the highlight videos on the site when I'm taking down my notes, and like he had this like impact, like this promo where he was basically crying when he was talking about like how when he first got into this business, and no one said that he would make it, and this and that, and he fought for everything that's right, and that's what we were doing. We're gonna fight against OVE.
Oh, brother. First time I've ever wanted OVE to really beat somebody up. Anyways, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, since I have two and you have one, I'm going to start the first one. Okay?
Okay.
This week, going in to the book is a reintroduction of sorts. It's going to be, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Nigel McGuinness.
You just read the book! Oh, shame.
Nigel McGuinness, calling him the right. Nina Garoshi? Really?
Nigel McGuinness, how dare you, sir?
We let you out because all that's, you started with that stupid fashionista crap. Now you're doing this. You've taken the two most boring, and maybe they are sisters, dude. Two of the most boring wrestlers who are just mere crappy counterpoints of each other. They're just terrible. Yep. And you come up with, you try to make them sound exciting and they're horrid. And nah, man, you're losing all credibility with me. Making up these stupid words. Ripping off real wrestlers' moves. Forget it. You're in there, Nigel. You're not coming out for a while.
Yep.
All right. Who have you got this week?
Okay, I have The Hunt.
You just read the book! Oh, shame.
I knew you were going to go for The Hunt, so they are ridiculous. Yes, go on. Tell me why The Hunt really irks you.
Why? Because, did you see what they wore out to the ring this week? They looked absolutely ridiculous.
They look like kids dressed. Oh, there's stuff that makes you roll your eyes when there's things when you turn on wrestling and you show your friends. You're like, this is why I like wrestling, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. Then that crap comes on, and you're like,
and then they laugh at you. They're like, this is why.
This is why. Did you hit your head with something? No, like yeah. Those guys make me embarrassed to be a wrestling fan. All right, and are you ready for the next entry?
I'm ready.
This person has managed to do something no one else has ever done in the history of WPOV. And I say history of POV because they are the first person to make it not only in the POV podcast wrestling's book, whatever they call their book, he's also this week going into our book. And that's that cross-eyed, slanty, dirty, stinky, poo-poo head, Miguel Cole.
You just read the book! Oh, shame.
Miguel Cole.
Oh, no.
We paid you darn good Canadian money to do... Let's face it, Elio, we didn't even want to pay him. His work was so shoddy at best. He did some promo work for us. It was terrible. That's why you folks haven't heard it, because we listened to it and we thought, well, we just threw money down the garbage. Then he has the nerve to say he's going to sue us because we paid him in Canadian money. And then he actually ripped up, you know what? Know this, Miguel Cole, it's illegal in Canada to destroy Canadian money. So if you step back over the border, you're going to jail because I'm having you arrested. You'll be in a real book of shame.
And it's not monopoly money either. What's going on?
Yeah. I don't know, but I do know this.
Did you they're going to sue the bald guy more than the other guy?
Yeah, like, try it, buddy, try it. I have so little more money, less than Elio, it's not even funny. But know this, you've opened a can of worms, Miguel Cole. You've opened a can of worms. You step across any time into Canada, I swear to God, I'm having you arrested for defacing our great Canadian currency. So I hope you know how to put a rope around your neck, buddy, because you're going to need it for where you're going. You think Rick Serrano's putting things in your weird puppet hole? Wait till you end up in Canadian prison. That's all I got to say about that. Miguel Cole, you are now dead to me. You're never doing promo work for us again. I should have went with Rick Serrano. We should have went with Rick Serrano. At least that guy's a bit of a gentleman. That puppet, though, nah, I don't even know why we listened to that sock on a stick.
All right, so that's the book for
that is
this
the
week.
Book this week. Well, I am so wound up now. I cannot believe how that Miguel Cole gets me so worked up. Oh, well. You know what?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just need some me time. I'm not feeling better. I'm feeling better. I just said, I just thought of Alanis right now in a bikini, and things just were. It just came back better to me. I feel much better. Thank you, Elliot.
All right,
folks. We had a fun time this week. We're not the only. Obviously, most of you came over from Wrestling POV, so you know the other show. It's a great show. I mean, you've got Tony Diaz, you got Mimi Goody, you got Rick Serrano III, and some ugly sock on a stick. The four of them have a great show. It's pretty fun, except when the sock on the stick forgets his role, knows no manners. They talk a lot about WWE. We pick up the slack and the other stuff. The stuff they don't get time for, because man, there's so much wrestling out there. They're talking hour and a half just WWE. We got to cover all the other stuff, and we're running out of time. So thank you for joining us. Check us out on. Okay, let's see if I get this right now. I try every week and I seem to mess it. You can get us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, MySpace.
I
blew it.
Podbean.
I love beans.
Podbean.
Chocolate covered Podbean, and you know what? If you want to drop us a line, we'll put up a poll this week. We've been so busy mad at that puppet that I didn't even think of a poll this week. But we'll post one up before the next show. But if you want to get a hold of us, Elio, tell the fine people all the social media stuff out there for us.
So go to our Facebook page at Wrestling POV Podcast, on Instagram at Wrestling POV1, and Twitter at Wrestling POV.
Well, you know what, folks? Every Wednesday and every Saturday, you have yourselves Global and WPOV Wrestling. I tell you, it's a couple of hours of fun, get some laughter, get in some good opinions about wrestling, help you look at wrestling in another way, because, sometimes when you sit there and you're watching the hunt come out, you start to feel like you're the loneliest wrestling fan in the world. Well, you're not. We're out there suffering with you guys.
The hunt, yes. I suffer with all of you as well.
Well,
so don't worry.
Well, you know what, Elio? I want to wish you a good week. I hope my week's a little easier than last week.
Yeah, I hope you feel better.
Well, thank you. And you know what? Tremendous fun this week. We look forward, fans, to talking to any one of you. We want to wish all of our fans across the world. We know we've got a lot of international fans listening to us. We want to say hi to people out in Europe, out in Asia, out in Russia, Australia, England, wherever you are tuning into us. Remember, you're important to us, and we're interested to what you're listening to in wrestling. And you know what? Maybe there's some wrestling out there that we haven't touched on. Maybe there's something really cool. Drop us a line. Why not? It's not like we have lives. We can add some more wrestling to our lives. Anyways, you guys have been great. We look forward to talking next week. Elio, say goodnight to the great people.
All right, we will talk to you all next week.